Okay, we're going to start our Advent, and we talk about, remember as Marty said at the beginning of the Advent season a couple of weeks ago, that the 4 Sundays before Christmas, plus the days in between, is the arrival we anticipate the birth of the Christ child. It is the time of arrival or coming. It is a time and an opportunity to show up as who we truly are. We are spiritual beings having a human experience who know that in essence we are all connected and one. Light and love are important parts of Advent, from the Star of Bethlehem shining in the night sky and the shepherds tending their flocks when the glory of the Lord shone all around them, to the birth of the Christ child, signaling the arrival of courageous, inclusive love in the world. Unity celebrates Advent as an inner search of mind and heart. It is a time away from the many obstacles that impede spiritual growth, and a time to become immersed in the one presence. It is a time to embark on adventure of spiritual introspection. I'm going to talk a lot about the wreath. It's traditionally used to represent the spiritual preparation of the birth of the Christ child. This wreath is typically a circle of evergreen branches. It's a symbol of eternity and unending love. And you'll notice 4 candles, 3 purple and 1 pink, are arranged on or inside the wreath, and 1 is lit each Sunday as part of Advent. Although different faiths may call out the meaning of the candles a bit differently, some even use white candles instead of colored, they all reflect peace, faith, love, and joy. And then why are there 3 colors? Well, purple is a royal color and has traditionally been the primary color of Advent, symbolizing the sovereignty of Christ. For unity, the first 2 purple candles represent faith and peace. The pink candle is lit on the 3rd Sunday, which is today, from the Gaudete Sunday, or the rejoicing, happy Sunday. For the unity, this 3rd candle represents love. And the 4th Sunday, the purple joy candle is then lit. So as Claudia lights the 3rd Advent candle for love, let the light of love fill you. We are living love. We are the divine expression of love. More than anything else, Jesus called us to love. Love God, love ourselves, love each other. We are to love our enemies as well as our friends. Jesus knew that unconditional love changes lives and changes our world. Love is always calling us higher. It beckons us to expand our compassion and understanding, to treat others as we would wish to be treated. When we live in love, we are radiating the essence of the Christ in us.
A song was heard at Christmas to wake the midnight sky, a Savior's birth, and peace on earth, and praise to God on high. The angels sing at Christmas with all the hosts above, and today we praise the newborn King, His glory and His love. Today we refocus our attention and celebrate that newborn King, the Christ light within each of us. May its flame light our own world with love and peace, radiating out from each of us to those that we love, expanding to our community, expanding to our state, expanding to our nation, and to our world. 2,000 years ago, a man said, "You are the light of the world." And when Jesus uttered those words, he did so with the knowledge that we have unlimited source of light. Our source, of course, is what we call the inner Christ. And like a burning candle, each of us can touch untold numbers of people with our own unique light and never have our light diminished. Think about that. You can love one person, 2 people, 5 people, 1,000 people. You can love people that you don't even know, and it's not going to diminish your light one bit. In fact, it will make your light even stronger. And that is a miracle. As we light these candles today, we will accompany each of them with a reading and a song. As I said, please remain seated so that you can steep in this beautiful music. Once we light all 6 candles, then we will light your candles. And as your candles are being lit, Sharon will play quietly Silent Night. And you can hum along if you'd like. And when all the candles are lit and the curtains are drawn, we will sing Silent Night. And at this time, I invite the board members and the chaplains to come forward for the lighting of the candles. Hark, the herald angels sing. The shepherds are tending their sheep when the angels appear. They are doing what they've done for generations, watching over that which is most precious and necessary for life. They represent the enduring, living light of strength and power and purity. We embody this purity and perseverance as we navigate our lives. The shepherds are that voice within us, reminding us that we are not alone.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of strength and purity. the light that carries us through our joys and our sufferings, the light that allows us to watch over that which is most precious in our own hearts, for we know God is present everywhere. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
Please turn to 279. Angels we have heard on high. The three kings were religious scholars known as the Magi, revered Babylonian astronomers and astrologists. They studied the stars and the planets, interpreting the meaning behind every cosmic event. Anything very unusual was considered an omen, so the star must have been both rare and visually spectacular. These men are embodied with great wisdom by being in touch with another reality. When they had their vision of Jesus' birth, they chose to act at great risk to themselves and to their own well-being. The Magi represent our capacity to seek guidance and answers and to use wisdom and courage to create a world that works for us.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of wisdom and good judgment, the light that is the link between our divine and our human nature. Wisdom directs us to act as love, compassion, joy, peace, and all the divine ideas beginning the invisible world into reality.
Please turn to 267, the first Noel, and we will sing all 4 verses. Joseph, husband of Mary and father to Jesus, inspires us to view life through another's eyes. Joseph's character is strong and quiet, yet he has a desire to know the world in a more profound way, regardless of his challenges, to support Mary and Jesus. And think of those circumstances around the conception and birth. He judged not the situation by appearances, but by righteous judgment.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light, the light that is our ability to stretch and see with new eyes, taking in all that is happening, not just with our senses, but with our hearts and minds. This spiritual understanding lends us to know the peace that passes all understanding.
Please turn to 268. What child is this? 268. What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleep? Mary, Mary, Mary. Mary, did you know? Mary holds a very special place in our hearts because she is the quintessential activity of faith and of love, of trust in God, trusting with all her heart and her mind. The angel Gabriel came and knocked on the door of her heart, asking her to do the impossible. The angel's news probably brought some fear and filled her with lots of questions. Can you imagine? Yet that moment she stepped forward in faith and trust into the unknown future. She created a space within herself for infinite possibilities.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of faith, the light that calls us to forgive more fully and love more deeply. It calls each of us to be greater than we ever imagined.
Please turn to 271 in your hymnal, Away in the Manger. Christmas comes at the darkest time of year, the setting when all of the Jesus birth stories were written. It is no wonder that we yearn for more magic in our lives, more light, more love, and that magnificent beauty of the warm light. Light is deep within us as the symbol of that which is more sacred and most divine and most alive. The light represents life itself, our personal connection to the one presence and the one power, God, the good, omnipotent. As you focus your eyes on these candles, we acknowledge the living light of the Christ within us, that expression of vitality, of wholeness, of creativity, of love, and of faith, as demonstrated by Jesus and Mary and Joseph, the shepherds, the Magi, the star. You are all of this. You are magnificent. And that's what Jesus' birth came to show us, to remind us that we are infused with the same divine presence that he embodied. We too have the power and the potential to express eternal activity of God in all the things that we do, in all ways. And now, as you focus on these candles, that feeling within inside your heart right now, I invite you to turn to 286. O come, O ye faithful. We don't have to go anywhere or do anything. We can just sit in the Christ presence within us. I invite Connie and Suzanne to come forward. So with these candles that you are about to receive, there's a blessing. Thank you, Sylvia. We know that the perfect candle for you is in there, the perfect blessing. These candles, these white candles, represent purity and unity. You are one with the Father, and the Father is one with you. You've returned to your Christ self, and you've flamed it, and it grows. Just breathe that in. When you receive your candle, you might want to just say a special blessing over it, and then we'll light them. As we light them, if you'd like, you can hum Silent Night. And when they're all lit, we'll hold them up and we will sing the first verse of Silent Night. These white candles represent happiness, unity, and the highest spirituality, that highest level of consciousness to protect you, purify you, and heal you. White represents truth, unity, harmony, and wholeness of spirit. The lighting of your candle represents the Christ within. As our silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. As our candles are lit and we light our neighbors, we become more engaged in the idea of passing on our light. And as we do so, we discover we never lost any of our own light. In fact, we turned it up. I invite you to hold your light up. I invite you to look around. And I invite you to sing once again. Silent bring your candle down to eye level. And go within. Maybe it's a time to bless those that have left us this year. Maybe it's a time to bless those who are transitioning out. Maybe it's a time to bless those that you love with all your heart, in fact, so much in your heart that it breaks to even think of them because you love them so much. And when you're ready, you can extinguish your candle, but not before you are ready. For this is your light. Would you just take a moment with me, as Mr. Rogers would say, and bless the people who have helped you to become who you are. Those who have cared for you and wanted what was best for you in your life. Susanna, if you could turn on the lights. And in conclusion of our 2019 candle lighting service, a quote from Isaiah: "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be on his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace."
Thank you.